call the January 18th Sanitary District Board meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, roll call, please.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Ken Gambala. Here. Robert Kometz.
Here.
Kim Kroll.
Here.
Richard Setlick.
Here.
Patricia Sims-Sumerchuk.
Here.
Wayne Pondinas.
Present.
Chris Salatis is absent.
Okay, we'll move on to election of officers for the position of president.
I'd like to make a motion to have Rob Kometz be honored with the position of president.
I'll second that.
For
Oh.
Brother Rob.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And the office of vice president.
I'd like to nominate Patty Sims-Smirchuk for vice president.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Number 5, approval of the minutes. Make a motion to approve the December 28th, 2021 special meeting.
Also move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. New business. We have landscape credits in the amount of, the total of them are $950.99. I'd like to just approve them all as one motion, if possible. I don't think is there a reason we can't, Jason?
You can, if there are no questions or comments about any of them. If they're all complete, then you should be able to make one motion to cover them all, but
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Just one. It might be more on what they did. The last three on the list, Tucci, Latico, and Eggert. The billing stuff was showing from January for their usage totals, and I don't know if that's just some kind of fluke.
Can I say something, Rich?
Yeah.
I think that because you guys had when you had your November meeting, then you said you didn't want to have the December one, but you had to have the meeting for the paying of the bills, that these weren't in there. And I think that this should have been done, the previous month should have been done in December, I think.
Oh, I would agree on the timing. This is though about using when they computed the credits,
Okay, all right.
what they used were the records that showed for usage or a billing date of January 1st, which would have been for December's usage, I believe. On those last three, I believe it is.
So the billing date I see was January 1st. These usage, we don't really know what those read dates were.
Well,
Yeah, because there's nothing else, and I don't know if there's
but they bill, in the clerk's office, it's billed January 1st for usage from November 15th to December 15th. The billing is always 15 days after the 15th. So that's what the billing period was, November 15th to December 15th.
So theoretically, if you're looking at Tucci, there's only 2 days, right?
Well, by looking at all these, now, I know they got 7,200 on everything. I don't know if she's trying to average it. If you're a new resident, they can't find an average for you, and I don't know if they wait the 3 months to try and average.
No. Any new residents, since they don't have an established usage for them, 7,200 is the default amount.
Okay, all right. All
So
right, thank you.
everyone gets 7,200 as a new resident.
Okay, thank you.
Until then they look at their usage for January, February, March, because they figure no water's going outside at all for
Right.
outside use. So that's when, the next year, they'll use that as their average consumption.
Okay, thank you.
So it does say here, they were sprinkled from November 1st through November 17th. So they used the 7,200 for those 17 days.
Yeah. They must have went back and looked.
So that one, looks like it was pushed through January 1st, but it was for sprinkling from November 1st through the 17th. And let's see what the next one, if it says that very similar. The next one is watered from November 9th through November 18th for Lotico. And again, they used the $7,200 usage.
Oh, yeah, I have no problem with the 7,200, but based on what you said about the billing periods, you're talking about 2 or 3 days for these people of usage.
Right, they're getting a full credit for 7,200 when they only watered on this one 9 days. So I hear what you're saying. We shouldn't have a full credit, a full month credit.
Well, there's something with the dates and that kind of stuff seems a little bit goofy, but I'm not, it's more procedural. I'm not disagreeing that they have a credit of some sort. I'm just trying to understand how that's working. 'Cause seeing the dates and when they put things in, and then what they're claiming for, and then what the town says, here's the billing date. And I was unaware about, or I didn't consider it about the 15th to the 15th.
Yeah, because it takes the clerk's office, several days to get the bills put
that's a-
together, and then they bill it for January 1st, but it's always back.
That's okay, but then
Yeah.
then it's going like, well, then,
And then September 15th, these winters, or the summer sprinkling rate no longer is in effect. So September 15th, it goes to,
Back to
if
winter
you're a new
rates.
resident, it's 7,200. If
but
you're
the
an
majority
existing
of the
resident.
period, we don't have the town billing them. So if they're billing before, or if they're watering before November 15th, we don't have a bill covering that period.
Well, we didn't see it, is what you're saying, so.
Well, it wasn't on there.
Well,
Assuming they get things, we've had several months on some of these.
so if you look at Sheridan, Lotico, the sanitary part of the bill is $20.87, and we want to give them a credit of $22.34.
Let me go to,
Or am I looking at this incorrectly?
Yeah, sanitation on the 1/1/2022 billing was $20.87.
that's garbage.
Yep.
That's garbage.
Wastewater was $73.95
Yeah, it's the wastewater that's.
that were,
Okay.
but these were all credits that should have been done in December but weren't.
Yeah, and I do know that the clerk's office puts a lot of time in.
Well, I guess
I've
if
heard
you look at
they do this.
Lotico, I'm just looking at, well, where's their usage? I don't see a figure that would cover their usage from the 9th of November through the 15th that they're claiming. Because say we watered from 11/9 to 11/18.
Yeah, maybe we can get clarification from the clerk. They're showing 11,300 is what they're saying the usage was.
What?
So on the credit for Lotico, actual usage 11,300, billed usage 7,200.
Oh, on their
Yep.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that credit on a monthly thing, that's, I've looked at that before. I think that's just a generated thing that's picked out.
And it could be that
I'm just looking at the usage period.
this report possibly didn't reflect the 2021, all of the 2021 that was billed. Maybe the report was
what I'm
run
saying.
incorrectly, so.
But there should have been a
So
bill.
do you want to exclude this one, not credit it at this time, and do it next month to clarification from the clerk's office?
Well, I think a clarification of that, I'm not really objecting to the credit figures. I know how they were figuring, I just can't figure out the periods. I could see it if this was their first billing. We have one bill that says January, but there's no real history.
Okay, so we can get clarification from the clerk's office on it.
Okay.
The same with Scott Eggert. His billing was from October 15th to December 1st. That's why you see such a large credit there. But again, what we have here shows January
Right, that's
1st.
why I didn't know if there was some kind of,
So
some explanation about that.
we can request
Yeah, was there anything before that?
this summary,
Yeah.
from the beginning, from whatever the initial meter read was.
Because I've seen it on others where you have several months, 2 or 3 months. And then, I mean, you can clearly tell when the balloon is, so
Right.
to speak. On these, you can't, and then when you look at the other stuff, you can't really back into it too well either, based on what we understand is the billing period.
Okay,
So, that's all.
makes sense.
Okay. Sorry to be
So
picky.
the last three, Tucci, Latico, and Eggert, are the
Yeah.
ones that are just showing the January bill date.
We'll ask for the last quarter of 2021, their billing.
Yeah.
So
To
so we'll have to
clarify.
do these by name, each individually then,
Okay.
so.
All right, so I'll need a motion to pass, consider landscape credit of $79.02 for Dustin and Kristen Carson of 13320 Redbud Drive.
So move.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I need a motion for the approval of the landscape credit for Christina Flores of 9185 Sherwood Court in the amount of $99.73.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion for the approval of the landscape credit for Nicole and Daniel Kovachkov of 10431 Juniper Lane in the amount of $329.72.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes. Motion for the approval of a sewer credit for Ken and Bridget McNeil of 9713 Dunegrass Way in the amount of $64.31.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And approval for Nancy Mikolajczyk of 8488 Larkspur Terrace in the amount of $136.79.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And approval for landscape credit for Darlene Rozicki of 10611 Brookhaven in the amount of $68.67.
So moved.
Second?
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. The remaining three, then we will get.
You have to make a motion to defer those three.
Okay, so entertain a motion to defer the three pending usage data from the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Item B, Sender Dalton Professional Services Agreement for calendar year 2022. Discussion?
Mr. President, didn't we have Baker Tilly last year?
Yes, we did.
Is there some reason that you know of that we now have Senator Dalton?
I do not, I was not made aware of this change prior to the agenda on this meeting. Again, I think it relates back to what we saw at the Water Board meeting, for the similar reason that the board should have the authority to designate the financial provider. I know there's going to be run-up of costs to get Sender up to speed to where Baker Tilly was, so there'll be some costs there. And I'm not sure if Sender is doing any other work for any of the contractors or developers in the town that, may be a conflict of interest. I don't know. So,
Well, and to echo your sentiment, it's, in our packet, we already have an agreement signed by our town manager on January 14th, 2022. But in the past, this board has always had the legal jurisdiction to choose our own financial advisor. And being good financial stewards of the residents of St. John, the financial cost, as you stated, to bring Sender up to speed, Baker Tilly has done a phenomenal job with all the financial hurdles we've had to go through this last year with all the curveballs that were thrown at us. For them to rework and reinvent the wheel, the cost would be prohibitive and be a waste of our taxpayers' money. I think
Sorry.
it would
My
be
apologies.
in the best interest to defer this so we can get a proposal from Baker Tilly, a proposal from Sender, and evaluate the two as a board.
I would agree. I have not gotten any figures back or
Okay.
estimates of costs. I mean, we have hourly rates for Sender and Baker Tilly, but we do not have an estimate of, what our spend is going to be for the town. And I would be reluctant to change not knowing that information.
And if we could call upon our town council rep, do you have any insight as to how this took place?
It was a surprise to me. In the meeting, they said, we're going to do these contracts, and there was the lawyer engineering, and then there was Baker Tilly and Sender, and I had asked, there's a contract here I don't know anything about. So they said they had a committee, and two people met, and that's all I know. And I voted no for that, not that I have anything against Sender, but I'm like you, Baker Tilly has been our accountant, and is this gonna be a duplication of services, like you brought out, as to starting all over? And I think, the way I understand it, you guys are your own entity, so you can pick, who you want as a accountant. So, you got some good questions.
Yeah, in my opinion, Baker Tilly's done a phenomenal job with everything they've dealt with us, with the raising of the, the water, the sewer rates
The
and
sewer
everything
rates,
else.
the anytime we wanted them for the SCADA stuff.
Exactly.
They took care of that. They made graphs, they made charts. We had quite a few meetings, 2 or 3 that I know, with the SCADA system, and they brought it all back out, the rates. You guys bring out some good questions, and I think you're totally within your rights of, if you want Baker Tilly, that's fine.
Well, I'm just looking at financially protecting our residents. I personally can't see reinventing all of these reports and spending all that money for all those man hours
it
to
would be a
duplicate
duplication of
the
services.
work that's already been done. But in fairness to Sender's company, I would like to make a motion to defer this to the February meeting so we can consider both Sender and Baker Tilly agreements for 2022.
I'll go along with that. I just want to add a comment, though. There's also a matter, this agreement doesn't really consider how Baker Tilly there, the division of labor that comes about with this. Because they're doing ongoing work or have been involved with. And, some of it is to relearn, that's on a basic thing, but there's also a matter that they're picking up in midstream from somebody else.
Right.
On various things. And there's a matter of the reasoning for doing that. I see nothing that says anything about that. As far as why have 2 instead of 1.
Yeah,
In some cases, like trying to get your tax return done by 2 different places.
yeah, this
Yeah.
was a total blindside to us. And as I understand it, Baker Tilly is still doing some work for the town, right? They're going to
Right.
continue on.
Yes.
It's a matter I brought up before about the flow of things. That usually the flow starts with us considering things, and it passes our muster, and the
Right.
actual final approval goes with the town council.
Right.
This is not the first instance that it's working the other way. With the town council approving something through the signature of the town manager, and then, well, what are we supposed to do? It's going backwards.
You make a good point, and the paperwork's already signed.
Yeah, so,
So what recourse do we have?
Well, the contract's been executed already by the town, but the technicality to it, as we mentioned, the water board is not according to IC code, which says the board has to pick
yeah.
that. So
So
there's
unauthorized
there possibly
signature.
are out. I'm not an attorney,
Yeah.
but that's what we're gonna look into also as a water district.
Okay.
And we didn't authorize Chris to sign it. Do we know why
Unauthorized
Chris
signature.
isn't here?
I don't know.
And Wayne, if I'm correct, I understand that Baker Tilly is going to continue to be the representative for the clerk treasurer's office, who handles
I think,
all of our finances and all of our money,
Right.
so
I think you're right on that.
they are entrusted with that task.
Right.
Okay, all right.
But then we still get billed for an allocation then of Baker Tilly that's being used by the clerk treasurers along with senders. We get billed for both of them for certain, I mean, not for the same thing, but for different portions.
If it was related to the sanitary district, they would bill us. They would
Well, I
have
mean,
that.
everything they do there seems to be related to us. We get an allocation of everything. And it's like, well, the Baker Tilly, there's a thing for, financial services for whatever, we get an allocation. I mean, it's on our docket now. But as a matter, are we then gonna have 2 accounting firms periodically?
I would
Duplication of
assume you would,
services.
Yeah,
Yeah.
until everything went through, so there's gonna be duplicate services there.
Billings for 2. There's a matter of the, giving the appearance of somebody looking at, why are you paying 2 accounting firms?
Right.
But anyway, it goes along, let's move on. I agree with
Did you make a motion?
I think Patty,
So Patty's
I
made a
made a
motion.
motion to defer until
yeah.
February. Let's look at the agreements for Sender, let's look at the agreements for Baker Tilly, and possibly speak to our attorney relative to our legal authority to do such, to choose our own.
And at that meeting, we will consider.
Yeah, and then February,
Well,
Be up for
I think you're
consideration.
right in doing that, and basically, it's, what I can see, it's a political move, by the town council to gain control of what you're doing. You are your own separate entity, just like the water board, and you guys have a right to pick your own accountant. And if you feel that you like one over the other, they're both good companies, but that's your choice.
and we have to do what's best for the residents of St. John.
Right,
And we don't want to get into any political vortex. That's not our fight.
We
Right.
just want to protect the money. that-
Right, and you guys have always been good at that. You saved $29,000 asking about that change order up there on 41. And I know you questioned the wastewater 1 or 2 meetings ago, the wastewater 7, that was the 7th payment for almost $50,000 that your board and the water board is paying almost $50,000 each, and you're on number 8, I think, on the docket, so that's 8 payments. I'm pretty sure it's out of 12, so that SCADA system will be just about paid for when it's in play. And I know Rich likes to, why are we doing this? But you do a good job, so I appreciate what you're doing, and your questions.
Yeah, but I see it's stuff, I mean, we have a bond payment on this docket, I believe, too, or an initial one. So there's a lot of money going out. If you
Right.
you add it up, and it's a matter of, it's kind of nice to know where it's going, or does it belong there, or I think a more basic one is why. It's like I'd question if I saw your wastewater bill on here, that we're paying it. they'd say no.
Yeah.
You know, same kind of thing. But anyway, the motion,
So we have an open motion
I'll
to
second if you need it.
defer to February,
Yes,
pending more information.
yes. So moved.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Reports and correspondence. Wayne, do you have any?
Well, I just want to thank all you guys for coming back again and volunteering your time and your services, and I appreciate all your questions and your due diligence on trying to do the right thing for the people of St. John. Again, I appreciate everything you're doing.
And thank you to the council for reinstating, renewing Kim's seat on the board.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Yes. And thank you for being our liaison.
And thank you for finding out about that question on that SCADA system payment so quickly. I mean, that was within like, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes after we adjourned?
yeah, we found that out. I mean, it worked out fine.
So thank you.
But you know, you guys, when you first started, because there was a changeover, Rich, the first meeting 2 years ago was like, what happened here? This is a lot of money. But then you understood what was happening, how they were doing the billing again. You know, you guys were taking over more responsibility, so it all worked out fine. You're doing a good job, and thank you.
All right, thanks, Wayne. We'll move on to payment of the bills. To entertain a motion for the payment of the sanitary district APVs in the amount of $9,090.01. Are
So-
there any questions on?
I just have one question. It seems awfully low compared to previous, not that I'm complaining that it's low, but I was just looking back and the past sanitary district APVs were 24,000, 14,000, 17,000. Did anybody notice anything, or?
We did
Are we
have the
missing
late December meeting where we approved, so it may have stuff that would have normally
Yeah,
gone.
that
in.
docket
Okay.
had a little bit more on it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You have the other one.
Pardon?
Don't you have the other one too? You have sanitary, then you have waste.
Correct. Yeah, I'm doing the sanitary first.
Okay.
All right, so I entertain a motion for the payment of the sanitary district APVs in amount of $9,090.01.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. And I'd like to entertain a motion for the payment of the wastewater APVs in the amount of $7,444,260.63.
So
There-
moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Public comment? Seeing there's no public comment, move on to an adjournment. Entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned.